מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך אשתחווה לך על קודשך ליראתך מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל אדוני אהבתי מעון ביתך ומקום משכן כבודך משכן כבודך ואני אשתחווה בהכרעה אברך לפני אדוני עושי מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל ואני תפילתי לך אדוני את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך אלוהים ברוב חסדך ענני באמת אישך מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל משכנותיך
Shalom and welcome to our Hebrew class, Hebrew Torah. My name is Peter Talhofer, and this is my son,
Kellan.
and we are here to help you find treasures in the written word and the living word, Torah and Yeshua. The treasures you can find if you work like a tank. Don't give up. You can find out more at TorahInMyHeart.com, our Facebook page also. I just added some more music videos also a few days ago on the videos page. With these two resources, you can learn to read Hebrew the way Kellan and I did. And we always recommend that you find a partner or a group to study with to encourage each other. Hebrews 8 verse 10 says that in the new covenant, God will write his law on our hearts. That's quoted out of Jeremiah 31:33, where God says that in the new covenant, he will write Torah on our hearts. That's the word translated from the Hebrew Torah into English law. It's God's Torah the charter of the kingdom, the instructions. When my wife Susan and I were raising our older kids, we did the class Growing Kids God's Way. It's an 18-week class. We did the class 13 times. We led it 12 of those times. And one of the main instructions for parents in Growing Kids God's Way is if you're going to give a command to your child, you should also give the moral reason why. Let the child understand why you're giving that command. And that's what's so cool about Torah is, yes, it is law, but it's instruction, and it's given by a loving parent, by our Father in heaven, who wants us to obey his word, and so he gives plenty of moral reasons why and puts it all into a story. So we get to read the story from Genesis through Deuteronomy. We get the moral reason why, we get the commands, and we know why God wants us to live this way. Now Kellan will read the first verse of Torah portion, Vayechi.
Vayechi.
From the root chaya, to live. The vav means and, the yod means he, and so it can be translated, and he lived. Also notice that this is in the kal form. It says Q-A-L there, kal. Kal means simple. And if we go to our chart, you see on the left is pa'al. That's the same as kal. That's the simple, active form of a verb. This is the form of verb you will see most often. Simple, active. And it's also past tense. And he lived.
Yaakov.
The proper name of Jacob. And Jacob lived.
Be'eretz Mitzrayim.
Eretz means land or earth. The prefix beit means in. So in the land of, you can say of because I have construct, underlying construct, chain is what that means. And that usually means you can say in the land and then insert of Mitzrayim, the proper name of Egypt.
Sheva Esre Shana.
Hebrew is generally a more concise language than English, and it's also a very precise language. A book written in Hebrew will be about 2/3 of the length of the same book written in English usually. But when we get to Numbers, it's a different story. It's longer in Hebrew to say numbers. Sheva is 7. Esrei can mean teen. It comes from asar, which is the root for 10 or tithe, and it can mean teen. And shana is year. So 17 year, and we translate it 17 years.
Vayehi.
This comes from haya, a form of the verb to be. The vav means and, so we can translate it and so was.
Yemeh Yaakov.
Yemeh is a construct chain with Yaakov. Yom is a masculine noun, as is ben, meaning son. And you're probably familiar with the term Bnei Yisrael, sons of Israel. So the masculine form is usually Bnei Yemeh. Yaakov, the proper name of Jacob. So the days of Jacob. You see it's translated the whole age of Jacob. There's another construct chain coming up.
Shene Chayav.
We have the word Shene again from Shana meaning year, only this time it's in a construct chain with Chayav. We had Chaya earlier, life. The Vav on the end this time means his life. So the years of his life. Altogether then the phrase Yemeh Yaakov Shene Chayav is translated the whole age of Jacob.
Sheva Shanim.
Sheva is 7. Shanim again, plural this time, 7 years.
Ve'arba'im u'me'at shana.
Arba'im, the root of that is arba, which is 4. Me'ah is 100, and it's a construct chain, feminine, because me'ah is a feminine adjective. So me'at shana. We would just translate all of this 147 years. So Hebrew puts the smallest number first, 7 years, and then 40 and 100. When you understand and can properly pronounce the entire verse. Take away all your helps.
Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim 17 shana. Vayehi yemei Yaakov shenech chayav 7 shanim ve'arba'im u'me'at shana. And he lived Jacob in the land of Egypt 7 and 10 years. And it was the days of Jacob, the years of his life was 7 years and 40 and 100 years.
Next week, our Torah portion is Shemot, the first Torah portion in the book of Exodus, beginning with Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now Kellan will read some more verses from this Torah portion, Vayechi.
Vayir'u ache Yosef, כי מת אביהם, ויאמרו, לו ישטמנו יוסף, והשב ישיב לנו את כל הרעה אשר גם לנו אותו. And they saw the brothers of Joseph, that it was dead their father, and they spoke, what if he holds a grudge against us, Joseph? And he returns back on us all the evil which we dealt to him.
The brothers are worried now that Jacob is dead, that Joseph never really did forgive them, and that he's going to get them back now without Dad being there. And it's a legitimate concern, except that we know that Joseph really did forgive his brothers. Notice the expression here, vehashev yashiv. When Hebrew repeats a word, in this case, the root shuv, return, when it repeats it like that, it's a way of emphasizing. So you could translate it, he shall certainly return to us. So they're worried that that anger is going to come back. The anger that they gave him will now come back on them.
ויצוו אל יוסף לאמור, אביך ציווה לפני מותו לאמור. And they commanded to Joseph, saying, your father commanded before his death, saying.
I have underlined vaitzavu, which is tzav, to command. Notice it's translated, they sent a message, which softens it, but they really did command. And Kellan just pointed out how they always say avicha, your father. They don't say avinu, our father.
כה תאמרו ליוסף, אנא שנא פשע אחיך, וחטאתם כי רעה גמלוך, ואתה שנא לפשע עבדי אלוהי אביך, ויבק יוסף בדברם אליו. Thus you shall say to Joseph, now forgive, please, the transgressions of your brother, and their sins, and their evil which they dealt unto you. And now forgive, please, the transgressions of the servant of the God of your father. And he wept Joseph at their words to him.
You see, the translation is, please forgive. I've underlined ana sa na. The ana is please twice. It's emphasizing, like we talked about before, doubling the word. Please forgive. And then sa comes from the root nasa, which means to lift, carry, or take. And to sa pesha, in this case to lift or carry transgression, means to forgive.
וילכו גם אחיו, ויפלו לפניו, ויאמרו, הננו לך לעבדים. And they went also, his brothers, and they fell before him, and they said, behold, we are your servants. ויאמר עליהם יוסף, אל תיראו, כי התחת אלוהים אני. And he spoke to them, Joseph, do not be afraid, for in the place of God am I.
I've underlined hatachat, which comes from the root tachat and means under or instead of, and in this case translated in the place of. Joseph is setting up what he's going to say next, that it's really God who did this, and he has no business holding a grudge against them. This is key to forgiving, like we talked about last week, and we'll see this in the next verse.
ואתם חשבתם עלי רעה, אלוהים חשבה לטובה, למען עשו כיום הזה להחיות עם רב. And you intended for me harm, but the Lord intended it for good. So that was done as this day to preserve many people.
Kellan and I both had trouble with that aso there, and we actually went to Danny Ben-Gigi to look it up. We normally don't use Ben-Gigi anymore, but it's a great resource when you're wondering just how is that word pronounced? And the thing that threw us was the cholam vowel over the sheen. Sometimes in a text you'll see two dots put there, one as a cholam vowel, meaning O, and one as the mark which makes that a seen instead of a sheen. Sometimes the text will just use one dot. It makes the sheen into a seen, and it also is the cholam vowel, so it's pronounced aso. As we saw last week, Joseph reframes his brother's treachery, their violence toward him, and he says, yes, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And if we're believers in God, then we also have to believe Romans 8:28, which Paul may have been thinking about this passage with Joseph. All things work together for good, to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. If we love God, if we're called according to his purpose, then even the evil things that people do against us, God is able to work those for good.
ועתה אל תיראו אנוכי אכלכל אתכם ואת טפכם, וינחם אותם, וידבר על ליבם. And now do not be afraid. I shall provide for you and your children. And he put them at peace and spoke to them warmly.
I've underlined that idiom at the end, the last three words, Vayedaber al libam. Translated, spoke kindly to them. It's literally, and he spoke upon their hearts. Now I'll read some verses from Isaiah 33, verses 14 to 20. Pachadu vetzion chataim, achaza re'ada chanefim. Mi yagur lanu esh ochela, mi yagur lanu mokte olam. They dread in Zion sinners. Trembling has seized the godless. Who can dwell for us with the consuming fire? Who can dwell for us with the everlasting burning? So this is a good question. Who can dwell for us with the everlasting burning and the consuming fire? And the next verses are going to answer that. I've underlined 6 words here because they're all participles. And participle is basically a verb that's been turned into an adjective. Holech, the first one, means walking, or in this case, he who walks. And so it's a way of describing somebody. It's that guy over there, the one who walks. That's what a participle means. Holech tzedakot vedover mesharim. Mo'es bevetza ma'ashakot. No'er kapav mitmoch bashochad. Otem azno mishmoah damim, ve'otzem enav merot bara. The one who walks in righteousness, the one who speaks uprightly, who refuses the unjust gain of oppression, who shakes his hands from holding a bribe, who closes his ears from hearing of bloodshed, and who shuts his eyes from seeing evil. The idea of shaking the hands there is someone tries to give you a bribe, and you're like, nope, not taking that. For a long time, our family didn't have any videos, and then about 20 years ago, we got TV Guardian, and then about 15 years ago, we got Clear Play. I recommend this. There's 14 categories you can pick from. You can block out things you don't want to hear, things you don't want to see. You know how it is when you're watching a movie and you haven't previewed it, and you're watching it with your kids, and all of a sudden, wow! Well, if you have Clear Play long enough, you're going to get so used to not seeing garbage that it makes it hard to watch TV at a hotel or somewhere where it's not filtered. And they even have it now for Amazon streaming, where they clean up the movies while you're watching a streaming video. Hu meromim yishkon, metzadot selaim miskabo, lachmo nitan memav ne'amanim. He will dwell in the heights, a fortress of rocks, his stronghold. His bread is given, his water is faithful. Melech beyafyo techezena enecha, tir'ena eretz marachakim. The king in his beauty, your eyes will behold, they will see a land afar off. Libacha yehege emma, aye sofer, aye shokel, aye sofer et hamigdalim. Your heart will meditate on the terror. Where's the one who counted? Where's the one who weighed? Where's the one who counted the towers? This is if you're in a fortified city and the enemy is sending scouts, staying out of bow range, and they're counting out how many towers they've got to bring down, and that army is looking at what kind of destruction they're going to bring on you, and you don't have to worry about that. You just muse on that terror. Yeah, I remember that, but that's not the situation now. Et am noaz lo tir'eh, am imke safa mishmoa, nil'ag lashon ein bina. A people of fierceness you will not see, a people of speech too deep to understand, a stammering tongue without understanding. Chazei Tzion, Kiryat Mo'adenu, Enecha Tir'ena Yerushalayim, Nave Sha'anan, Ohel Baral Yitz'an, Baral Yisa Yetedotav Lanetzach, Vechal Chavalav Bal Yenateku. You will behold Zion, the city of our appointed feasts. Your eyes will see Jerusalem, a peaceful habitation, a tent that will not be moved. It will not be taken up. Its stakes will not be taken up forever, and its ropes will not be snapped. So going back to the first verse we read from Isaiah, who can dwell for us with the everlasting fire, with the consuming fire? It's that person who lives the way God wants us to, the way He explains in Torah and Tanakh, and through the life of the living Word, Yeshua. Now Kellan will quote the Avinu, and then we'll have our closing video.
Avinu שבשמיים, יתקדש שמך ויתברך מלכותך. רצונך יהיה עשוי בשמיים ובארץ. ותיתן לחמנו תמידית, ומחול לנו חטאותינו, כאשר אנחנו מוחלים לחוטאים לנו. ואל תביאנו לידי ניסיון, ושמרנו מכל רע. Amen.
There's a traditional expression at the close of each book of Torah, and it goes like this: Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek, which means be strong, and let us be strengthened. Last week I showed probably my favorite Hanukkah video with the Maccabees candlelight, and this week it's Eish, a Hanukkah rock opera. I hope you really enjoy it. Before we go, let's say that expression together. You, me, and Kellan. Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek. So until next week, we hope that you grow in getting closer to the written word Torah, the living word Yeshua, and until then, and Torah portion Shemot, the first Torah portion, the book of Exodus. Until then, Kellan and I say, Shalom!
Oh, when the Greeks ruled the temple and land, to be a Jew, this they could not stand. They tried to kill, but we rebelled. Goodness gracious, miracle of all. Beating them in battle, cleaning out the temple. I'm Israel high, jug of pure oil. Yeah, jug of pure oil. Oh yeah.
And the oil for just one day, but it lasted all 8 days. The trumpet cracked, we saw God's hand. On Hanukkah we took a stand. We've against the strong, filled against the mighty. See the light, see the light. Good against the wicked, go on and go. See the light, see the light. High, 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 high. See the light, see the light. High, 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 high. See the light. Each night we're lighting at a candle. Spread the light for all to see. 8 nights we're lighting, publicize the miracle. Put in the window for all to see.
Gotta eat this. Gotta eat this. Gotta eat this. My. He like to spin it. They like to spin it. We like to spin it. All the kids all over the world, we're going to spin that dreidel. Spin that dreidel.
Oh, now. Hanukkah's like a this. If you're old or young, we'll light it. Show your Jewish pride and light. I got my new menorah. I love my new menorah. I love my new menorah. Nes gadol haya po. There was a great miracle that happened here. There was a great